what's up guys? Terry here with another TurboFitTuesday episode for you. In today's episode, I am talking about my air fryer, my favorite new kitchen appliance, maybe my favorite kitchen appliance actually right now. I use this almost every single day, definitely every week. It has earned a permanent spot on my countertop, so it is always out, just like my Vitamix and my toaster oven, things I use all the time. So this air fryer is the Go Wise brand. So this is the only air fryer I've used. I don't know if it's the best one out there. It has been wonderful for me. I picked which brand air fryer to get from the book, The Vegan Air Fryer. So there's a cookbook out there called The Vegan Air Fryer, and I bought that before I bought an air fryer because I wanted to see recommendations. So she goes through all these different models of air fryers, sizes, like what size you want to get based on what you want to use it for. So, and how much food you're making. So that's how I landed on this one. I highly recommend the cookbook, The Vegan Air Fryer, and use that to help you figure out which one. This Go Wise is a 5.8 quart. So I cook enough food for me. I throw a whole package of tofu in there at a time, and it's enough. It's a little overcrowded, so it might not be perfect. Probably better if I did it in 2 batches, but it works. You know, I make it work. I'm lazy. I don't want to sit here for half an hour. I use my air fryer to save me time. So I use a whole pack of tofu all at one time, and that's what works for me. So figure out what size works for you, what model works for you, what price point works for you. You know, they're all different prices. This one was $68 on Amazon, which I thought was totally reasonable, especially considering how much I use it. So today I'm going to show you how to make 2 different recipes that I make all the time in the air fryer. One is for air fried tofu, and so I'll make a big batch of this at the beginning of the week so then I could use it in meals throughout the week. So just depending on what you're having, you can throw it in bowls, you can saute it up with some potatoes and veggies and make a hash. You can put it on top of pizza, whatever you want to do with your air fried tofu. It's just always a great protein option. I don't use oil when I cook, and so the air fryer has been really good to help me make things really crispy. So the outside of the tofu gets super crispy even with no oil, and the inside is still nice and soft, which I like. So that's the consistency I like. I'm also going to be making soy curls, so you can't see these really. You see that in there? So these have been soaking. Soy curls are just these crispy dehydrated soybeans. Let me show you what they look like. So here's a bag of soy curls. Butler is the brand. I don't know if there's other brands, the only brand I know of. You can get them on Amazon. This is what they look like. It's just, in the ingredients, it's just whole non-GMO soybeans. So it's just soy in here. No artificial ingredients, no food additives, nothing. Just soybeans. Even tofu, which is relatively clean and healthy, there's water, soybeans, calcium sulfate, magnesium chloride. So there's a few more ingredients in tofu. Still pretty good. Always make sure when you're buying your soy products, if this is important to you, I always buy organic soy because so much soy is genetically modified, and I can do a whole other episode about why I personally choose to avoid GMOs whenever I can. So I want to make sure that always my soy is non-GMO, and soy is one of the most prevalent genetically modified foods. So if you're buying organic soy, you're going to get non-GMO soy. So that's why I buy all my tofu and soy curls and things that have soy organic, because I don't want GMOs. So that's what soy curls are. So since the soy curls come as these hard dehydrated soy crisps, you would never want to eat them like that. So you have to rehydrate them. So you soak them in water for 10 minutes. These have been soaking for a couple hours actually, so they're going to be a little softer. But I threw in a little bit of coconut aminos with these so that they're going to have a little bit more flavor once they fry up. So soy curls don't have a ton of flavor. You can put whatever sauces on them that you want. I got the idea for air fried soy curls from a recipe I found online for country fried chicken, and she used cornmeal and crusted these soy curls and then fried it up, and oh my gosh, it was so good and crispy, and it was like fried chicken. So soy curls you can use to make whatever texture you want. It's just pieces of chicken. You can throw them in stir fries, anything. It's just really great. So I want to have some good, ready-to-go protein sources during the week that I can just throw into meals, like soy curls and tofu. So that's why I'm going to make a big batch of air-fried soy curls and air-fried tofu. So let's get into how to do it. All right, so the first thing we're gonna make is some air fried tofu. So the first thing I did was drain the water out of the tofu package. I just peel off a corner of the package and drain it in the sink. I didn't press it, I didn't do anything fancy with the tofu. I just drained the water out of the package. And then the next thing I did was cut up the tofu in the container it came in because I'm lazy and don't wanna have to wash a cutting board. So you can put the tofu block onto a cutting board if you're a proper human, or if you're me, you just cube it up right in there. So I keep it, you don't want it to be too small of cubes because you don't want it to like fall apart when you start tossing it in sauces and things. So I now have to make a bowl dirty. So I just dump the tofu cubes into the bowl so you can see kind of how big they are. If I was going to use a cutting board, I would have probably cut it in half as well. So then I'd have like twice as many cubes, but this works too. So now I'm gonna season up my tofu. So now it's time to season the tofu. So I don't measure when I'm making things to go in the air fryer. It's just, I'm such a recipe follower normally, but when it comes to making air fried tofu or air fried soy curls, I just wing it. So I'm gonna use some coconut aminos. And coconut aminos, I know I mentioned earlier when I talked about soaking the soy curls, it's just coconut sap. Ingredient is organic coconut tree sap, aged and blended with sun-dried mineral-rich sea salt. So it's like tamari or soy sauce, which I love both of those as well. But tamari, even like low sodium tamari, the reduced sodium tamari has 700 milligrams of sodium in 1 tablespoon. The coconut aminos has 90 milligrams of sodium in 1 teaspoon. So if there's about 3 teaspoons in a tablespoon, that's about 270 milligrams of sodium in coconut aminos versus 700 milligrams of sodium in tamari. So just depends on if you care about sodium or not. If you don't care about sodium, then use tamari or use whatever works for you, whatever you like the flavor of. I find the flavors to be really similar, so why not use the lower sodium one, but every now and then use tamari too. And tamari is of course gluten-free. That's like the difference between tamari and soy sauce. So I'm just throwing a bunch of coconut aminos on my tofu. And that liquid is gonna help the spices and things stick to the tofu. So I always start with the liquid, and then I'm gonna add my nutritional yeast. So nutritional yeast is really high in B12. It's fortified with B12. And this particular brand has 1,460% of your recommended daily allowance of B12, or recommended daily amount that you're supposed to get. Not all nutritional yeast is fortified with B12. If you're looking to get your B12 from nutritional yeast, make sure you get a fortified one. I take a Complement multivitamin every day, so I don't need to fortify with B12, but why not? Nutritional yeast, if you've never used it before, has this like nutty, cheesy flavor, so it's good sprinkled on popcorn, on pastas, on bowls, on literally anything. And then it just adds a nice flavor to anything that I'm air frying. So I always toss a bunch of nutritional yeast on whatever it is that I'm going to air fry. Again, I don't measure, I don't know. I'm a rebel. So I'm just gonna sprinkle a bunch of nutritional yeast on there. So that's really yummy. And this brand, Hoosier Hill Farms, I get on Amazon. So that makes life real easy. And then I'm gonna want on here some turmeric salt. So I use Jada chicken salt, Jada Spices brand. I love their turmeric salt. So turmeric is really anti-inflammatory. So I like to make sure I get turmeric in every day. And if you have turmeric with black pepper, it helps make I think it's the curcumin and turmeric that makes it anti-inflammatory, so the black pepper helps make that more bioavailable, helps your body use it more readily. So I use this for like my salting and also just a little bit of flavor. I'll put a little more. And then we're gonna just throw a little bit of garlic powder on there, just for a little more flavor. So you don't need to get crazy, but if you're like doing an Asian recipe, you can put more Asian, like a 5-spice blend or something in here. If you're doing an Italian recipe, I've done like with basil and oregano and thyme, just whatever herbs or spices you are feeling in the moment. But what I always use is the tamari or coconut aminos, salt, and nutritional yeast every time I make air fried tofu. Those are the things that are always there. And then I just mix up the spice blend. This week, I'm not sure what I'm going to use it for, so I'm keeping it a little bit more neutral. I put garlic on everything, so I'm putting the garlic on there. And then the turmeric also. And then I also heard, and I haven't found any confirmation on this. Like I tried doing a little bit of research, but didn't do a ton. That turmeric, when you heat it, it loses some of that anti-inflammatory property. So you shouldn't, like, if you put it on here, it's fine. It's not going to hurt you, but you're not going to get that awesome anti-inflammatory benefit. So I actually usually sprinkle a little bit more of that Jada chicken salt turmeric flavor on top of my food, or just some regular plain turmeric powder. Here's what it looks like, and gives things this like nice yellow color. So if you're making a cheese sauce or something, or you want to make a tofu scramble and you want it to look like scrambled eggs, if you put a little turmeric, it's going to have that color. So I've got my tofu all tossed in the seasonings. I'm going to throw it in the basket of my air fryer and then fry it up. I'm going to put it in at 380 degrees for probably, I'll do for 12 minutes. At about 6 minutes in, I will toss it up and then put it back in for the other 6 minutes and see what it looks like. And we'll go from there. If it needs more, I'll add more time. If it doesn't, then I'll take it out. Hang on just a second, we'll see what it looks like. Let's get ready to toss it up. And I get all the extra batter in there too, just because it's really good. And you get these like fried little crispies. All right, now it's time to make the soy curls. So the soy curls first, since they've been soaking in this liquid for at least 10 minutes. If you use hot water, sometimes it's better. I think they recommend soaking in hot water. I just used room temperature water, but use what works for you. So I'm gonna strain that out real quick. So now I've got my soy curls here, so you can see it kind of looks like chicken pieces or something. So first things first, I'm going to add my coconut aminos, of course, to get all the liquid sticks. So they've been soaking in coconut aminos, and so they're kind of moist on the outside. So they don't need a ton of liquid to make anything stick. But since this bottle of coconut aminos is empty, just use it all up. And then, of course, my nutritional yeast. Again, not with the measuring, just not my jam. Sprinkle it in there until it looks good. You might need to add a little bit more because there are a lot of soy curls in there. Definitely recommend with the soy curls, if you're using like a whole one of those bags of the Butler soy curls that you could just get on Amazon, 2 batches, because the inside ones like that are touching each other, where it's touching each other, it's going to be kind of mushy. So it's up to you if you care. I don't care because, again, lazy, but totally up to you. I'm also going to add some of my favorite seasoning. This is the umami seasoning from Trader Joe's, and in it is salt, onions, mustard seed, porcini mushrooms, button mushrooms, red pepper, black pepper, and thyme. It's just a really good blend. Adds a really good depth of flavor and smells so good. So I'm just going to, again, pour a bunch on, not too much. That. I'm going to use some poultry seasoning, give it a little bit of a chickeny flavor. I like the smell of that too. And then I'm actually going to use some herb sea salt. So this is one of my favorites. Whole sea salt blends, give it a little saltiness because you need it. Make it taste awesome. But there's a bunch of dried herbs in this too. So there's a sea salt, celery, leek, cress, onion chips, parsley, some word I don't know, garlic, basil, marjoram, rosemary, thyme, and kelp. So this is like really good. It's got a bunch of good for you stuff in there too, so you're not just getting salt, but it gives like really good flavor and, you know, makes it taste salty, which is awesome. And toss that up really good. Probably gonna need some more nutritional yeast just because there is so much in here. We want to make sure that they have like a good coating on them because you want it to taste really good, right? So whatever you're going to use it in, it tastes amazing. Like you could put this in fajitas, you could put it in tacos and pastas, and again on pizza. You can make like a buffalo one. So there's this barbecue Jada chicken salt flavor that would be really good, I bet. If you use that on here, and then after you air fry them, toss them in like a barbecue sauce and make a barbecue chicken pizza with these. Maybe I will do that. That would be really yummy. So yeah, we will toss this up, and then again, I always start with the 380 degrees for, 10 to 12 minutes for these, and then just see how it looks. Like if it looks like it needs more time, throw in a couple more minutes. And then, especially since I am doing the tofu first, I'm going to start with this one at just 10 minutes, just because I don't want it to go for too long. And since the air fryer already be hot, that'll be great. I love air frying things because in San Diego in summer it gets kind of hot, and our air conditioning bills are kind of high. So you don't want to have to blast your air conditioner all the time. But if you cook, you can turn on the oven and your whole house is going to get hot, and you're going to need to turn on the air conditioner if you have an air conditioner. So the air fryer doesn't heat up the house like the oven does. So it's like you get a really similar effect, right? If you were to bake these soy curls instead of air frying them, you would probably get a really similar effect, except it would take at least twice as long to do in the oven, plus your whole house gets hot. And the air fryer takes half the time. It gets like crispier. When I like make baked oven fries, they get crispy, but they're delicious. But in the air fryer, they're even crispier. I don't know. That's the magic of air fryers. It's just hot air moving around in there. That's all that's happening right now. Oh, I think right now it is time to shake up the air fryer for the tofu. So let's take a look and see what's going on in there. So I can tell these are going to need a little bit more time. They're about halfway done right now, and they're not looking super crispy. So we're going to put them in for the rest of the time and then probably add a couple more minutes. And another thing I want to add, at least with this air fryer, when I shake it and toss it, I do it while it's still kind of resting on the bottom of the air fryer. And I don't know if it's something with this metal or just I shake too rigorously or what, but sometimes when I've shaken it, when it's just like over the floor, the pan drops out. And I'll show you guys like what is actually inside the air fryer, like what it looks like. But the pan has fallen away from the basket inside, and then my food goes everywhere. So just to be on the safe side, I give it that extra cushioning so that if anything does happen and the basket falls away from the handle part, my food is still safe. That's it. All right, so that is it. I love my air fryer. I use it all the time, especially in summertime. It comes in so handy. You can air fry anything. You can make air fried French fries, and they're done so fast. So if you just have a potato, let me show you something. So this contraption is super handy. What you do is you put a potato or anything in there, anything you want to make into that shape. You just push the handle down. It's like Play-Doh when you're a little kid. And then the potato comes out the other side in little French fries, like little cubes, long cubes. So this makes it real easy. You could, of course, just cut up your potato. But if you put it in here, just one little swish, and a potato becomes French fries. So you just like take a potato, throw it in here, cut it into wedges, cut it into whatever shape you want, throw it in the air fryer, French fries. Healthy, no oil. You don't need it. Or you could put a little bit of oil, spray them, whatever. You need way less oil than if you were going to like deep fry them or fry them on the stovetop or something. Can you hear that sizzle? So good. Look at that tofu. So I was wrong, it doesn't need extra time. But you can see like where it's touching, it's gonna be not as crispy on the outside. So that's why you wanna make sure you're like tossing it around as much as you can while you're cooking. But I, again, am lazy, so I don't toss that much. Look how good that looks, it's so crispy. All right, so once the tofu is done, or the soy curls are done air frying, that's when I do my portion control. So even though this is really healthy, you still don't wanna overeat, right? You don't wanna eat more than you should eat every day. It's just, you know, a thing. So you can see where it's kind of softer on the sides that touch each other. But to make sure that I eat the right amount and I'm getting enough protein, I'm gonna measure in my little red container here. This is part of the portion fix. And I'll put in a little meal prep container, and that'll be 1 portion of tofu, which is exactly what I needed. And then I'll just portion out the rest of it and put it in my little meal prep containers, and then I have single servings of tofu to throw together whenever I'm ready to make a meal during the week. So I'm not gonna do like full-on meal prep, making the full meals all today, but I'll have my tofu ready for when I want to eat during the week, so that I don't have to worry about making something and then don't have anything and end up going out to eat or eating like a frozen pizza or something, you know, just because I'm lazy and don't have something healthy sitting around. Oh man, and look at these soy curls. They're looking so good, crispy and ready to rock. I love them.